Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. So this last week, I'm going to start with my individual assignment, which is Sketches in Color by Robert Starrer. So Robert Starrer was an Austrian-born composer. He was born in Vienna in 1924, and he came to the United States and studied composition at the Juilliard School of Music in New York. And later he taught there too. He was a teacher at Juilliard. And he was a very prolific composer. He composed not only pieces for students like this one that I'm going to talk about, but also operas, concerto for violin, concerto for cello. So he was a very recognized composer. And about this piece, Sketches in Color is one of his most known pieces for students, and it's a set of 7 pieces for piano which employ different 20th century techniques of composition, such as polytonality, the 12-tone row, like the dodecaphonic series, also chromatism versus diatonic melodies, pentatonic scales, parallel harmony, jazz syncopation. So each of these pieces employ different techniques. I chose for today the second piece in the set called Shades of Blue. So this would be the easier one that I chose. So Shades of Blue has a melody that has diatonic parts and chromatic parts, and it evokes the sound of blues. So let me play for you just a little bit of the melody. So this is quite diatonic, but then he gets to this part. Full of chromatism. I don't know. And the left hand is parallel fifths. You see, they're parallel motion. They're in parallel motion. It's not the hardest piece, but it has some difficulties, such as a little bit the rhythm that sometimes is syncopated, not as much as Bright Orange, which I'm going to talk about later. But this is a good preparation for the syncopated rhythm. And the left hand is simple because it's only parallel fifths. So I hope you enjoy. It's a very nice piece. I like how it sounds. I would recommend this for my students. So the second one that I chose is called Bright Orange. So as you have seen from the title of the pieces and the title of the set, Sketches in Color, each one evokes a particular color, what the composer thought that color would represent for him in terms of sound. So Bright Orange is a very interesting piece. It also has lots of syncopated rhythm, but this time much more complex. You can tell from seeing the score, but you're gonna see when you listen to the recording. So Bright Orange also employs parallel harmony. So I think this I chose for the medium in difficulty. So Shades of Blue, the easiest, Bright Orange, the medium. It's a very complicated rhythm. It was, I thought it was when I play it, I thought it quite complicated. So I would recommend the first one for late beginners, and this one I would recommend for intermediate students. So the last one, which I I thought was the hardest one is called crimson. So I was not familiar with this word. So crimson is also a color. It is a dark red tending to purple. So I didn't know that. So crimson is a different technique of composition. It has many repeated notes. I think basically the difficulties in this piece are that it is fast, many repeated notes, double notes, and repeated chords in a very fast tempo and all staccato. And of course the meter, which is 7/8, which we should think of as a 4 and then a 3, a 4/8 and a 3/8. That would make more sense. And even the writing is divided like that. You see 4, 3, 4, 3. So you can see the repeated notes here, and then double notes, thirds, and then they turn into chords. So if you don't have the appropriate technique for repeated notes, it can be very tiring. So the student has to have already a certain level of technique so that he can relax in all these repeated notes, like, and then, so it can be very tiring because it goes all the way through the piece. So this would be the last one for this assignment. Now for Robert Vandal assignment with the bagatelles, I chose a simple one, which is number 2. So number 2 is a very melodic piece and not very difficult, not very fast. And I think that it would be a great piece to learn the syncopated pedal, because you don't have to worry too much about what's going on with the right hand or the left hand. And it's a very pleasant and lovely melody, very delicate. You can also learn phrasing and legato left hand with phrasing. Yes, so basically I would say this bagatelle would be good for an early, no, a late beginner, that's what I mean, a late beginner. So I forgot to talk about Robert Vandal a little bit. So Vandal was an American composer. He was born in 1944 and died quite recently in 2017. So he was a very prolific composer, mainly of educational piano music. He even had an independent piano studio for 38 years in Ohio, in the state of Ohio. So he wrote for students of all levels, from beginners to advanced levels. He was a very recognized composer, American composer. And the last piece I'm going to talk to you about is Fountain in the Rain by Gillock. So we talked a little bit about Gillock in the last assignment, American composer. Let's remember the dates. He was born in 1917 and died in 1993. Last week we had the preludes in the lyric style. So this week, this individual piece is a very beautiful piece. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. And I think students will love it. But I think they are more appropriate for advanced students or very late intermediate. I don't think this is a very easy piece because you have those repeated 16th notes on the right hand, and I think it's quite difficult to keep them pianissimo, quiet, and even at the same time. I think this would be the greatest challenge of this piece, to keep this 16th notes very even all the time and without interfering with the melody that is played by the left hand. So it's just like a perpetual motion, and very delicate. And of course you have the crossing hands. This is quite challenging too. And this rose at the second part, when you get to the fortissimo, you have to play this rose very fast and cross the hands immediately, and cross the hands. This would be quite challenging in my opinion too. So, well, I think that's all. I enjoyed all your videos, and I hope you all stay safe and well. And that's it. Bye.